mistake should Bulgaria avoid right now?
But I think the people of Bulgaria have to get used to things going up and 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 up in price. It's going to keep going. Your new inflation, everything that's all in Ireland back then.
Cheese or
Yeah, in Ireland back then we judged everything on the price of alcohol. So the first few years, the adjustment was mostly trying to get used to the increased number, the thought of the number, not exactly the value of the money, but more. I mean, initially the number changed. So if you were paying £2 for something, it suddenly became €3.
I heard that people aren't saying in the shops this is expensive. They're like, this is wrong. Hi everyone.
Hi guys, Gary and Susie back at you. 2026, baby.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I hope you had a very good New Year and Christmas.
Yes, it was very nice here in Ireland. We had a quiet Christmas. We didn't do very much. We went out a couple of times, but stayed in mostly and spent Christmas Day together with the usual turkey and ham, bits and bobs. And we got loads of messages off everyone out there watching the show. We thank you very much, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's edition of Gary and Susie.
Yes.
And Lily. She's right here.
Lily's the main...
Lily's the star of the show. Hello, everybody. So what are we talking about tonight, Susie?
Today we're going to talk about Bulgaria and the euro.
Yay! Bulgaria is finally in the euro, the 1st of January 2026. And for a month, just for January, you can use both currencies, but then in February, you're only going to be allowed to use euro. Now, Susie is from Bulgaria.
I'm from Bulgaria. I haven't been living there like more than 10 years now. But yeah,
you're well used to the euro because she's been living on different parts of Europe and Ireland specifically for a long, long time. I, of course, live in Ireland and have done for a long time. And I remember when the euro came in here. So we decided it'd be nice to talk about that, just talk about the euro, what it was like when it came into Ireland, what it's going to be like for Bulgaria, possibly. We are not, well, I am not a financial expert by any means.
I am the financial expert.
She's the finance expert.
I'm joking, I'm a trader.
She's a trader. I've just lived with the euro and I went through it, so I thought maybe if anyone from Bulgaria is watching, they might find it a bit helpful from whatever I can help them with. I don't know very much, but I'll do my best.
Very good. So we're not going to talk about politicians because there was like protests and stuff. I'm not aware and I can't really talk about.
Well, I know that there's about 50% opposition to the euro coming in. So I know that much. So it's pretty divided. But it's not that different to what it was like in Ireland in a way. But we didn't protest that I remember. If anyone can correct me, that's fine. But I don't remember.
People can comment.
Yeah, please do, please. But in Ireland, when the euro was coming in, some people didn't want it, for sure. And other people were delighted about it. So there was mixed reaction back then when. And in Bulgaria, we saw that recently with protests and stuff. But there's always a little bit of political instability down there anyway, because Bulgarians don't take no nonsense, right?
We would like to talk more about the everyday life and how this is going to affect everyday life and everyday people.
Yeah, because I mean, regardless of any opposition to it, say 50% of Bulgaria don't want it, they're not going to get anywhere because it's in and it's staying, and that's it as far as Europe and Bulgaria is concerned.
So I have a question. When Ireland switched to the euro, what was the real mood in Ireland? Did people trust it at the beginning or trust came later?
Okay, well, I was at the time working in a bar. I was going through college and I was part-time barman.
When was that?
It was around, I'm not sure, Google it there. I'll check it myself. I think
20 years ago?
It's over 20 years ago. I'll check now. I was working in a pub. And I was actually at the coalface of changing money for people. We joined January 1st, 1999. I knew it was either 99 or 2000. So 27 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah, I know I don't look that old. But at the time I was working in a bar and I remember the day that we switched over. We had pounds, punts they were called. 1, 2, 3, 4 simple decimal.
The same pounds like in the UK?
No, they were different. They were punts. They were called pounds, but Irish punts. And they were just a decimal currency. So the numbers weren't too difficult for us to figure out. Italy had a bigger problem because they were talking about lira. They had hundreds and thousands of lira and they had to switch over to 150 and 250 and figure out the cost analysis of that. Similar to France, but they're francs. They had a bit of bit more trouble switching over. But for us, it was just £1, €1. It was pretty straightforward. Now, I remember on the day I went into work, I had little bags of money and they were counted out. There was 5, 10, 20, and 50, and it was all counted out. So if somebody gave you £20, you could give them back the euro equivalent of that, which I think was about €23, maybe less than that.
£1 is 23.
No. They were done in packs, so £5, £10, £20. So if somebody handed you £20, you handed them back €23, whatever the equivalent was, whatever the equivalent. So it was pretty straightforward. It wasn't that difficult. A lot of people already had euros. They were ready for it. All the businesses were ready for it. I think that was very smooth how that worked out. And the banks were pretty good in the sense that you, up until, I think even now, you can bring in old money now still, even to the bank and exchange it. So it's pretty straightforward. You're not going to lose your money. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay. How long was the transition period?
The same as Bulgaria, was a month. Well, for about a year beforehand, just like Bulgaria, there was signs up in all the shops and all the businesses talking about the euro, getting it into the lexicon and into the language and into the understanding of people's with the exchange rates. 1.3, I think it was, to 1, whatever it was. And people were ready for it. And they liked it. Ireland took to it quite well, I think. There was no real problems that I remember. I'm sure other Irish people that are watching this might remember other things, but as far as I'm concerned, it was very smooth.
Did people accept it because they believed in it or because they didn't have a choice?
A bit of both. We had a great relationship with Europe here in Ireland. We got great investment in infrastructure, which we badly needed. Back in the 80s, Dublin was completely different to what it is today. It's completely unrecognisable to what it used to be. And it was an awful lot of European money flooding into the country before we got the euro. So they built motorways for us, they built bridges and infrastructure, and invested in our IFSC down at the docks there, where we have like a financial quarter of Dublin. That was all built with European money, and just good governance as well. We were lucky at the time with our government. They were pretty good. I mean, there's problems with every government, but they were pretty professional about it all. So we were very pro-Europe. We still are as a country. Ireland's a very pro-Europe country. It's not without its problems and not without its detractors, but overall people were always pro-Europe, and certainly at the time the euro was an exciting new chapter for Ireland, because we'd had a patchy history. We had a real economic crisis here in the 60s, 70s, 80s, massive emigration, of course, off to the States and other parts of Europe. So it was seen as a positive new thing. And it was. It brought a lot of money into the country.
Okay. Let's talk about prices. I heard, I don't know, Bulgarian people may get in comment to tell how is the situation, but I heard that people aren't saying in the shops, this is expensive. They're like, this is wrong. I wanted to ask you, did prices quietly go up in Ireland?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Quietly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, initially the number changed. So if you were paying £2 for something, it suddenly became €3. And it wasn't exactly the exchange rate. There was added on a little bit extra here and there. People took a little bit of advantage with the prices of things. So if something's, for example, if you were buying say a pint of beer for £5, it became €6.50 or €7. And people were like, well, that's not exactly the same, exactly right. But look, businesses are going to throw a little extra couple of cents here and there onto their prices. But overall, the first few years, the adjustment was mostly trying to get used to the increased number, the thought of the number, not exactly the value of the money, but more, I used to pay 2 for that, now I'm paying 8 for that. So people had to get used to that changeover. It was much later, because we are tied to Europe much closer with the euro, that our financial relationship got more complex, and certainly into the financial crisis in 2008, we had very little control over our money, because obviously it's not our money, it's Europe's money. So we had to do an awful lot of what Brussels was telling us to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's good and bad.
Do you remember something that suddenly felt more expensive?
Everything.
Like, for example, butter.
Everything in Ireland back then.
Cheese.
Yeah, in Ireland back then, we judged everything on the price of alcohol. So that was it. People were worried about their pint. They were worried about their cigarettes, stuff like that. People noticed shot up overnight in terms of number and in terms of value as well, because there was a few extra cent thrown on in there, like I said earlier on. But no, overall, a pretty smooth transition.
Okay.
You find a country has no choice. I mean, Bulgaria has no choice. They're in it now. So even if people are complaining about it and people are protesting it, it's there. And you have to contend with it. And that's really the end of it.
Okay. Let's talk about wages and fairness.
Yeah.
In Bulgaria, many people earn around 600, 700. I don't know what is the minimum wage. In Ireland
600,
and
700 a week?
euro
Euro
a month.
a month.
Yes,
Okay.
monthly.
Okay, right.
And in Ireland and Germany, minimum wage is like close to 2,000. I think in Ireland is 2,200 or something. I'm not sure. I think it's something like that. If you can just comment if you know exactly. But anyway, the difference is just a lot. So, do you remember how it was in Ireland?
So you're asking if Bulgaria's wages are going to go up
Yes.
because of the euro?
And when are they going to go up?
Well,
What happened in Ireland?
That's a whole other story. That's look. The euro's not going to fix everything that's wrong in a country's sort of account book. It's going to help, and it's going to absolutely tying yourself to a giant currency like the euro. I think there's 350 million people now with Bulgaria in there, all using the euro. There is going to be a benefit. A rising tide lifts all boats. But like everything, there's pros and cons. So if you're tied to a successful currency, that your government, the people of that country, will expect their government to, govern accordingly. So in terms of wages and everything, that's going to be a Bulgaria problem, but they can now use the euro as a sort of framework for how they govern. So it'll be interesting to see how the people elect going forward about the promises the politicians are going to give the people of Bulgaria. But like, it's no panacea. Just because you have the euro doesn't mean your country's going to flourish. The idea is that it will, and you hope that it will, and it likely will in certain sectors. Tourism is going to go through the roof, I imagine, for Bulgaria, because whilst it might seem like a small thing, people don't like changing currency. It was one thing that was great about the euro. The most benefit I found from the euro was being able to go to Germany for the weekend and understand the value and the number of what I was paying for things, because I didn't have to worry about German currencies or French currencies or Italian currencies. I just had euros in my pocket, euros in my bank account, and it made life much, much easier. And I know from our trips there to Bulgaria, it took me a while, and I still don't fully, I never really grasped the lev to euro kind of relationship. So there's going to be that. But in terms of the future of a country that just adopted the euro, it looks good. I mean, most countries have a bit of a bump after they join the euro, because
how long it's going to take though? Like 5 years?
there'll be an
10 years?
immediate bump. There'll be an
Immediate?
immediate bump. The next couple of years will be probably very, very good for Bulgaria, I
Is
would
Sunny
imagine.
Beach on-
Unless a crisis happens, because 2008 came out of nowhere and it screwed up a lot of countries in Europe.
Is Sunny Beach going to change?
Yes, it definitely will.
We love Sunny Beach.
Yeah, Sunny Beach is very popular in Bulgaria. And of course it'll change. Yeah, 100%. Other businesses will, outside businesses internationally, will be more willing to do business in Bulgaria. They like a clean currency exchange, and they just like to do business in those conditions. So you'll see probably more international hotel chains opening up in Sunny Beach. Likely, now I'm just spitballing here. I don't know what the plans are from the Bulgarian government at all, but I imagine they'd be looking at infrastructure, new roads in and out of Sunny Beach, new beach laws and cleanliness and environment, all that stuff. I mean, Europe is
Health and safety,
which is sort of kind of new in Bulgaria.
We don't have health.
I say no, it's terrible to say that, but there's a big difference between taking a bus journey there and here, whatever. It's fine. But look, you really are now. Bulgaria's been part of Europe for a long time anyway, but now they're in. So it's a whole new ball game, and you're going to see improvements probably in every area of life. But the euro's going to make it a lot easier for businesses to do business, for sure.
Okay. What about mental health? Money and mental health.
What?
Why do changing numbers feel so stressful for people?
Well, because I guess people don't like being ripped off, and there's a lot of trust involved when you switch over to a new currency initially. You have to trust that the place you're spending your money in is actually just giving you the exact same amount of value as you would have gotten 6 months ago with a different currency. And sadly, that doesn't always happen. So I know, I suppose any change is a bit of a drain on your mental health. Certainly, old people in Ireland, when we changed over to the euro, older people, um, they found it more difficult, obviously,
Mm,
because
mm,
it's a bit more confusing. But you can say that about anything. I mean, the older in society have had to get used to Apple Pay and cards and chip and pin and tapping, and so there's constant change. Funny enough, actually, when we switched over to the euro, um, there was a generation in Ireland that was their second time changing their money. Because
mm.
we used to have old money here in Ireland. I gotta say, it was the 40s or 50s. I'm not sure. Halfpennies and shillings and just mad numbers. Like it was like 12p is 10. I don't know what it was. It was long before my time. So they changed over twice in their lifetime.
Oh,
So
that's
they
interesting.
found it quite easy, I guess. But I think most student people would just get on with it. They're
Mm.
tapping anyway, you see, just tapping. Back when we switched over, cash was still pretty important.
Yeah, I heard that the older people they struggle a lot in Bulgaria as well.
They will, because older people tend to like cash.
Mm,
So they're the ones who are going to be dealing with the changeover in real time. Whereas younger people in Bulgaria, everyone I've ever seen in Bulgaria is tapping for everything,
mm,
so they
mm,
probably won't even notice.
mm. Okay, trust and control. Do people feel like they lose control when they lose their currency? And um, did Ireland felt like it gave up part of its
Okay,
identity?
well, I can answer that in two ways. Ireland, like I said earlier on, super pro Europe, and we just completely jumped in. We were fine with it. We're fine with the investment. We were fine with the new money. There was no real big problems. Only even now, like still, there's a few fragments of society that are sort of Eurosceptic. Not many though. It's not a big thing. We're overall a pretty pro-European country. So in that regard, it was fine that we were handing over control of our money.
Mm,
A lot of people didn't even bother thinking about it. Some people highlighted saying, we can control our money right now. We won't be able to do it into the future, which is true. And there's been a couple of occasions where it would have been nice to control your money. But at the same time, if we'd stayed in the punt and everyone else went off with the euro, we'd be in a very, very different place. So overall, it's been a net win for Ireland for sure. You have to make sacrifices, and one of those sacrifices is, you cede an awful lot of control, all control, essentially, about for your currency to Europe, which is part of the deal. And I'm sure Bulgarian people and the government have thought about that.
okay.
Mm.
What about Bulgaria? Do you think Bulgaria is in a harder position than Ireland was?
I'd say similar.
Sorry,
Yeah.
lower wages, lower trust, more fear. Does that change everything?
Probably it's gonna. All society deals with things. I mean, you can't compare how Ireland came into the euro to Bulgaria coming into the euro because it's what 27 years later. It's a different world, different set of circumstances. I'm sure it's going to be an interesting year. There'll be challenges for sure, but overall, I think it's going to be good for Bulgaria. But I think the people of Bulgaria have to get used to things going up and 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 up. And up, up in price. It's going to keep going. Your new inflation, everything, it's all going to change. I'm no financial expert, but if you tie yourself to Europe, then you take the good and the bad.
And what mistakes should Bulgaria avoid right now?
Um, well, I think the mistake they have to avoid, if there is any mistake to be made, is clear communication with your people. And you need to have that trust where you know, and I'm not talking about politicians per se. I'm talking about people in spheres of influence, maybe journalists and things like that. They need to be really good at their jobs, really good at their jobs, being very clear with the people about what it is, what it means, where it's going, and dispel any fears, but also bring to light any bits of information that people need to know. But look, it's already going on. It's
Mm.
not going to stop. You're in the euro. Enjoy it. Take the good with the bad, like I always say.
If you were Bulgarian today, would you support the euro? Yes or no?
I would, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I would. After being down in Bulgaria, I mean, the country is in Europe, and it gets the benefits of being in Europe. So now it's going to get even more benefits. Like I said, there will be cons, but mostly pros. And I think it's going to be good for the young people of the country. I think it's going to be good for inward investment. That's crucial because businesses from around the world will be more likely to do business in Bulgaria because of the euro. Doesn't mean they will, but they'll be more likely to do it. So I think it'll be a gain for Bulgaria. Not great for me because I like to go down there and buy cheap stuff. So not great. But anyway, it's not all about me.
I'm gonna miss Bulgarian level.
I love Bulgaria. I like Bulgaria leva. And I think money is cultural. You know, it's nice to have your national money. It's nice to have your own money. It's nice to have your own control over your money. But look at America. Every state uses the dollar. They're happy. You gotta tie yourself to a big, giant juggernaut of finance, and you'll do well. I think.
I hope my family keep for me some.
A bit of lev under the mattress. There's loads of Irish people hiding punts under their mattress just in case at the time. Loads of it. Loads of that going on. People hiding money and everything just in case. You never know. I'll hold on to me pounds and me punts. Hey, look, it's great. It'll be fine, and we're going to go down this summer, and we'll probably touch this again. We'll touch base.
Yeah, how is it actually? How it's
because there's we go to a hotel every year for a little bit of a break, and we know the prices very, very well. So we'll come back and let you know if they're having a little bit of diddly with the prices, which they probably will.
And Bulgarian people or Irish people, you can say what do you think about the.
Yeah.
About
like I said, I'm no financial expert. I probably got a few things wrong there. It's just my experience of Ireland going into the euro and what I think is going to happen to Bulgaria. Zuzi is Bulgarian, so we'll probably, like I said, come back to this at some stage and talk about it again because it's interesting.
Yes, thank you very much for watching.
Thanks, guys. I always appreciate it. We've loads of videos up on the YouTube, and you can listen to the two of us spitballing all sorts of stuff. We'll be on twice a week with you, so do stay tuned. Give us a like and a follow and a subscribe. It really helps us out here on the channel, and we really appreciate you taking the time to watch this.
Let us know what you want us to talk about next. Actually, we have the next video idea. I'm not gonna say.
She's the boss.
Surprise! Surprise!
She surprises me all the time.
We're gonna talk about Lily.
I'm talking about Lily. Lily, how do you feel about the euro? Oh, woof woof.
She was snoring.
Yeah, don't blame her. I hope nobody watching was snoring. But anyway, this is the long goodbye. Thanks, guys.